Good evening, Demon Phil, Comics More New Jersey, here with another interview for you this evening. This evening, I have the creator of the Tercona Kickstarter, which has recently started up. We're going to go more into detail with that. The creator's name is Frank James Bailey, and we're going to go over where I actually met him online, of course, and we're going to go directly into his work and have a lot of fun with this and see where this leads from there. So here we go. Here is Frank. Give me just a moment. Bring him into here.
I like being silly sometimes. Go ahead.
Oh, it's great to be silly. I mean, it's just like I always say, you know, I can't move around too much because it messes up my hair.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I get you. How's it going?
Hey, I'm doing great. Welcome to the show and glad to have you on this evening. So we're going to be talking about your Kickstarter that just started up. Okay. But I do want to go ahead and bring up something real quick beforehand. I found out because I actually got a hold of him yesterday whenever it was time. Yesterday was Frank's birthday.
Yes, it was.
So
I'm not that kind of person to say, oh my God, another birthday. I'm another year. No. I'm going to say, hey, yes, I'm another year older. I'm 51, but I don't act like I'm 51. Okay, my body feels like I'm 51, but still, I don't act like I'm 51.
I agree with you on that. Now, normally I would sing for somebody's birthday, but I like to try to get viewers on here, so we're going to subside from that completely.
Okay. That's okay, sure.
Plus, I don't know if your headphones can actually take it. We'll just be honest on that.
Oh, boy.
All right. So your Kickstarter rolled out on Monday.
Yes.
And it is Tercona. Is there any other name to it or just Tercona?
Tercona.
Yes. So now, we need to correct that. That is Tercona.
Tercona.
Yes.
This is the Kickstarter to help fund comic book number 3.
Okay. There you go. As long as you're not throwing up gang signs, we're good.
No. I can't quite do it with this one. I can do it with that. We're lazy, so or whatever. Yeah, well, Tercona, her powers come out at lightning bolts out of her first 3 fingers. So there you go.
Well, there you go. That's what you can start doing right there.
There you go.
Number 3.
And if you see her behind me there, that's my old banner. I have a new banner now when I go to Comic Cons. It pulls up from there. But when I first started doing this, I used that one back there. It has like a stick behind it. It had to roll it out, and it was okay. But I love the one I have now. Just rank it up and put it on. 10 seconds, it's done. I should have bought that a long time ago.
Yeah, that is the best way to do it. We need to get one of those whenever we get back into cons for our side of the business and do it that way too. But now Tercona is considered an all ages adventure, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so it's not you don't have to worry about excessive violence or curse words or nudity or anything like that by any means.
I find creative ways of making if somebody wants to swear. I found a creative way of not like in book number 3, this girl named Brittany wanted to say, I'm going to kick her, and then Tercona like threw a towel at her face, hit her face before she said anything. So it's a creative way of like saying, okay, I know what she was going to say, but you blocked it. Good.
So it's just like being a regular parent in front of your kids. You don't want to swear out loud, so you figure ways going, anyway, I'm going to finish it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, let me ask you, I've got a few questions for you this evening, so we're going to kind of go through that. But as we go through, I just want to get some more information on each question to kind of learn more about you and about the project that you're doing.
Okay.
So for the first thing, how long have you been doing the books?
The Tercona this is how I pitched it to everybody at a Comic-Con, okay? Mm-hmm. Back when my daughter was 7, but she's 13. But when she was 7, she said, Daddy, I don't like princesses anymore. I like superheroes. So that's where the seed of the idea started. It kind of grew from there because in the very beginning of the very first book, Tercona starts off as a princess and her dad is in prison. So basically her mom, this queen, imprisoned her own husband. So Tercona used her powers, got him out, got her brother. They escaped this planet, left her evil mother behind, left her princess life behind, came to Earth, became a superhero. Pretty much it. But she ages 1 year for every 10 years on Earth. So they landed in the early 1990s. it wasn't until like 20, 25 years later that there's some big event in a diner or something. She's kind of like, oh, we've been doing this. We've been doing that. We've been hiding for so long. Well, one event at a diner, somebody pulled a gun on her, trying to rob a diner. She became the superhero known as Tercona. At the time, she was also wearing a cape and a different suit, which is kind of like similar to Big Hero 6 when first his thing was green, then it was red.
Exactly.
Tercona wore a cape the first time, and then there's a reason why she didn't wear a cape anymore later on. So, what's the Incredibles? No capes. Well, you find out why she didn't wear a cape after that. So, but that's basically how it all started from book 1, and I started off as 3 illustrated novels. Tercona book 1, Our New Home. Tercona book 2, Dr. Huna Banana Gun, and Tercona book 3, Trinity's Traps. They're illustrated novels, basically a book with a lot of color pictures. I liked the format, but around 2018, when book number 3 was out, I was like, okay, maybe I should try a comic book. I mean, I love the format, but it wasn't selling as much as I wanted to. So when I made the first comic book and I put it out there in 2019, it was like an explosion to me anyway. I mean, it was like a huge, the comics were outselling the books like 10-1. So from that point on, I started making more comics. But it started off as 3 novels. And so I don't want to go back and redo the novels. I just figured, hey, if you want to know how it all started, there's the novels. They're on Amazon, that kind of stuff. So
they can actually go back, and even though they're getting 3 on the Kickstarter, they can go back and read the first things that are on there as well.
Yes, exactly. Well, when I pitch it to people, I always tell people this too. It's like the first 3 novels is like, there's the whole world. There's how it started. And when you get to the comics, it's the same characters, the same world, just a new format and a new storyline. So when how it starts, you go to the novels and see how she got her powers and how her powers do and that kind of stuff. But of course, the comic books is, like I said, the same characters, the same world, just a new storyline, new formats. And I find it, people seem to like comics better because they can actually see the action, they can see the characters better. So they could see people fighting stuff. You can't really see that when you're reading it. So I can understand why people like comics better.
Right. Well, you use your imagination whenever you're reading a novel, and then whenever you're reading a comic, you almost more or less feel like you're part of each panel that's going on at that point, because you can actually, you don't have to imagine as much because you're actually seeing it right there.
Mm-hmm. And another thing too, back in the early 2000s, I learned how to write screenplays, and it took me this long to realize. So when you're writing a comic, it's kind of like writing a screenplay, because I love writing screenplays, and I've written several. I never published any or never sold any yet, but wow, it's very, very similar to writing a screenplay. And so I don't know why it didn't hit me before, but still, it started off with 3 novels, and now it's in the comic book format.
And that is great. I mean, that sounds like you've definitely got a project underneath you that's continually evolving and growing, which is great, because you don't want to have something that gets stale and stagnant and you're stuck with just one thing. Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you, what was your inspiration for the characters you got? Because you've got quite a few characters in your bio. We're going to get to that here in just a little bit, but what was your inspiration for picking and choosing and how to build them up?
Well, with Tercona, I wanted somebody, by the way, in case you didn't know, my daughter's name is Paige. I named the alter ego of Tercona Paige. So the high school girl that goes to high school, her name is the same name as my daughter. And it's hilarious. When my daughter was like in 1st and 2nd grade, and I went out there and kind of promote the book, and it's like, oh yeah, and the alter ego is Paige, and I kind of looked and pointed to her, and the whole all her kids like, oh, that's you. But yeah, I wanted to have somebody, a character that was very recognizable when you looked at her. I didn't want her to have the exact same powers as somebody else. So I kind of like, again, when you watch like The Empire Strikes Back or anything like that, you see like the lightning bolts coming out of the hands of the dark side. Well, hers only come out 3 fingers. One of the reasons I did that was, 1, to be different. And 2, if somebody cosplayed it and wanted to be really creative, a cosplayer can actually put like a little device here, push down, and then have the lightning bolts or something come out of her fingers. She wanted to be creatively like that. Plus the suit. My daughter doesn't. At the time she liked Kim Possible, but she didn't like wearing the crop top. And I was like, well, maybe my character, the Tercona character, and even Paige can always like to be covered up. You notice she wears a whole bodysuit. but every character is different and every character does their own thing. That's why Brittany, well, she likes to wear crop tops, and that's just her thing. Now, obviously not in the wintertime, she won't do that. And of course, then you have the nerdy kid Brian. He's similar to me a little bit. I mean, he likes superheroes. He's in video game stuff, and I even gave him my birthday. That's another thing too. When you go to the website and you look at all these different the bios and stuff, and you click on the part where you get the extra information about them, everybody has a birthday. Well, a lot of the birthdays of the people that I know, like the birthday of Brian is my birthday, but still, every character needs good information about all of them, so you know how tall they are, how what grade they're in, what they're into, that kind of stuff. So
absolutely, it's the development of the characters, and that way you go ahead and you're building the universe, and you've already got a foundation for doing that. So that's a good way to do that. That way you can draw from it, and you can see that this is working correctly, or this needs a little more attention on this one for this book, and you can kind of move through that. And exactly, it's a good way to set up the foundation for that, which I like that. Now, we are bringing up about Tercona. Actually, let me go ahead and show a picture of her real quick, since I've got it over here that was sent to me. Bear with me. There we go. So this is Tercona. And if you see the picture here, he was talking about the 3 fingers doing the lightning. And if you notice, on both hands here, it's only coming out of the 3 fingers. I actually find that very interesting because, like you said, there are too many that have just straight out of the hands or straight out of their entire body or anything like that. And this is fingers, specific to just 3 fingers. Now, the fact that she is split here, that is because this is the change from her regular form to the superhero?
Yeah, she's changing from her alter ego Paige into the superhero Tercona. My artist, his name is Ujabel, he drew that, and he drew that specifically for the Kickstarter for me. So you can find that on the Kickstarter, and he even right where your mouse is right there. He actually signed that picture too. So, and it's one of the poster. I'm sorry, it's a print. It's a 11 by 17 print, and it's one of those prints that I put on the Kickstarter that are only available, as because a lot of the special. The special covers I have that we'll talk about a little bit later on if you want, but the special covers also come with a print. So if they get a special cover comic, they get the print with it. But that one you just showed, it's just the print. That's it. My daughter loves that one, by the way. I told her, if I have any left over, we'll get
the special covers. So these are the special covers right here.
Or some people call them variant covers too, but yeah, they're special covers for comic book 1, comic book number 2, and comic book number 3. And comic book number 3 is called Burmese because there's a new villain called Burmese, and he has the ability to mind control people. But his thing is he has to look into your eyes, or you have to look in his eyes. But once he has you, and you can see there's a snake around his neck, and so once he looks at you and he has you under his mind control, then you're doing his bidding.
Now, Frank, you didn't take a picture of me whenever I shaved off my mustache and goatee at one point, did you?
Burmese is 7 feet tall and 300 pounds. He's a big dude. But the part I'd like to put on the website was I described him. Yeah, he's a big guy and he has very formidable, intimidating because he's so big. But he doesn't usually have to use his bigness or his stature to do anything. Because he can just look at you and mind control you. So.
That would definitely be a cosplay goal that I could go with. I mean, just shave off and then I'd be ready to go.
There you go. Put a little snake around your neck, right?
Exactly. I think I could pull that off.
Yeah.
I mean, I can look intimidating and freeze people at times. I mean, I think so.
Well, the other thing too, if you notice, when you saw the special cover, Brittany has her eyes are yellow. So when he hypnotizes or he makes something, when he basically mind controls somebody, the eyes are yellow too. That's how you can tell who he's controlling. Their eyes are yellow.
Okay, I see that now.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see there because they're all 3 of them, but you get the idea.
Right. But I mean, you can see his eyes are yellow there, so you look down and you can actually see it coming out of her eyes right there as well. So that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like a bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's I mean, that's interesting that you're coming up with all these characters. You've done all the bios and everything. So I'm actually going to ask something that's going to kind of bring it all back to where it all started.
Okay.
Is for number one, you enjoy comics, correct?
Oh yeah, I've been collecting comics since the early 1990s. I love the Flash, Batman. I collected some Marvel comics like Spider-Man, but mostly DC comics.
Okay. So growing up, what was the one comic that just set you off to where you're like, I've got to have comics for the rest of my life? It's done.
The Flash. When in the early 1990s, when
Really?
the first TV show The Flash came out, I wasn't really into comics a lot when I was a little kid, but maybe I'm a late bloomer. But when I was when I saw that TV show The Flash, I had to have more comics. And it just so happens a little bit after that, the death of Superman came around. So then I have that one as well. And again, they're all DC comics. So I want to learn more about Green Lantern. I'm going to learn more about these other comics. So and I knew Marvel was around, but I mean, at the time I was really into, and I had this whole big box full of comics that I always show my kids and stuff. And every year we usually go to Free Comic Book Day and get more new comics. And it's very different now than it was back in the early 90s. But
absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, as far as let me see, I'm bringing up the Kickstarter actually on my other computer, so it's not just shared screen on here.
Right.
I just want to look on here. So we've got Tercona Burmese #3. We started up on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
We have got, it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, it is 10 or 11 tiers on here.
Yes, I think so.
As far as the tiers, I will say this for everybody who's watching this, the highest tier that is available on here is $20. So you're not breaking the bank by any means on this one. It doesn't have one of the $5,000 tiers.
Yeah.
Although if you do pay him $5,000, I'm pretty sure he'll give you a lot more than just the book and a couple of things.
I thought of it this way. This is my very first Kickstarter, so I didn't want to make it too big and extravagant and stuff. And honestly, it's a learning curve. So and I want to make it simple for some people, and I didn't make my goal too high either. So my goal is around $2,000.
But that shows your character because as far as being in the industry, because looking on to your webpage now, the first thing that got my attention whenever you gave me the link to that was the fact that you'll be traveling throughout 2020, going to Comic-Cons and bookstores. This was prior to current events, of course.
Yeah.
If you see me, the comic is only $5. I like that. I like the fact that you make it a personal experience at that point. It's not a matter of, well, you've seen me, my book's over there, it's for sale and everything. So yeah, I'll give you one. I'll even sign it for free right now, but you're going to pay the regular price. No, it's if you see me, it's only $5. What made you decide to come up with that to go ahead and promote it?
Well, I like talking to people. I like meeting people, and that's why I like going out to different Comic-Cons and different bookstores. I haven't made it to any really huge cons like New York or LA or nothing yet. I plan on going to the Cincinnati Comic Expo later in September. A couple of cons that were scheduled in the spring have been rescheduled for later in the fall. But yeah, I haven't been really super. As a matter of fact, last year I went to Indie PopCon. I've been to the Indianapolis Convention Center a couple times for one out there. But again, nothing super huge. But I love talking and meeting new people and telling people about Tercona, because somewhere way down the road, and I know this takes a long time, I know it's an uphill climb, but I want to turn it into a cartoon someday. I want to pitch it to a network. I think it would work great on Netflix, because Netflix has a little more openness about things than Disney or Nickelodeon. But if Disney or Nickelodeon said, hey, we seem to like that, well, let's talk. But hey, I want to have that day, want to have that moment where I pitch it to somebody, and I have a feeling the audience is growing because it started off as 3 books, now it's comic books, and I've noticed, like I said, I was at the Wizard World in Cleveland back in early March, and even though it was the most I sold all year because of current events, it was probably the most I sold ever, because I think I sold like 10 books and like close to 20 comics in 3 days. Now, it's probably not a whole lot, but to me, I mean, it means it's growing more and more and more,
Absolutely.
And
Well,
that's
whenever the demand is normally for, the demand is normally for what's the newest Venom book that's out there, and that's whenever you have lines going out the doors.
Yeah.
So now things are changing. Indies are starting to get a little more of the spotlight, and that's why creators like you, whenever you go ahead and put it out there and you show that you're putting your passion into your work, that's whenever you start seeing the uptick on there. So I think having the Kickstarter right now is a good thing to do, and that's why we're bringing this up today, to go ahead and bring about the Kickstarter as well. And whenever you get the book, if you will send me a digital copy, I will do a review as well. So I just want to put that out there.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and put that. Now, I will say, as far as the Kickstarter, let me bring this up very quickly. Well, I say quickly, but technology and the guy behind the controls here. So again, we have Burmese. What I want to see is, there we go. So this is the Tercona Kickstarter live. This is the information that you're going to be looking for whenever you go look for it on Kickstarter.
That's the thumbnail, yeah.
Exactly. This is the thumbnail for it here. It is Frank James Bailey. And whenever you start seeing the characters look like this and everything, that's where you need to go ahead and stop, look, pick your tier, back it. And then the most important part after that, share this out. Now, get it out to everybody.
Something that might be, did you happen to go to the Kickstarter and play the video?
Yes.
Because some people have said the first 20 seconds, I like that, because they were really intrigued about the first 20 seconds that I put together. So, and I know that first 20, 15 seconds is what gets people attention. So hopefully I got people's attention with that video, then explained everything. So I'm glad you enjoyed that, that video.
Well, I mean, like we had said, I actually met Frank whenever we did the online con a couple weeks back, and he was a guest on our show, and I was a co-host there. So I got to ask him a few questions and kind of pick his brain a little bit. And I decided then and there that I need to get him on and have a little more in-depth interview on this and have a little more time with him. And we went ahead and planned it for, hey, you know what? You got a Kickstarter coming up, so we need to go ahead and get you on here for an interview.
Excellent.
So I've said it before, and I will say it again. As long as you are willing to put passion into your work, as long as you're willing to do the work and show that you're willing to put in the effort, I will push on anything that I possibly can to help out anybody on that. And I'm telling you right now, you can see definite passion in what he's doing, and I haven't even seen the work yet. So I just want to put that out there for everyone who's watching this. Definitely look into this. Definitely look into the links that we'll be giving you here in a little bit. And whenever you go to the, where am I now? I am on the web page for you, and whenever you go to appearances, appearances.
Okay.
You have a bio on yourself here.
Yeah.
And what I like about this is a bio where he's not sitting here going, I did this. This is mine. I am the best writer. I am the best creator. There is none of that in here. This is, I thank you for doing this. I thank you for taking the time. I hope you like it. I did this for you. That's the kind of passion that you want to see in here. And that's why I enjoy having you here as a guest and then helping get the word out here for you on this. And again, share. Everybody needs to share.
Well, just out of curiosity, because a couple of people have told me when I first started the Kickstarter, like, oh my God, you're doing Kickstarter now? And it's like, well, yeah, that now seems the perfect time to do it. So you want to tell me what you told them? Well, tell your audience when you told me it's like about Kickstarter, and it would amaze me about Kickstarter right now. Anyway,
I have been keeping up with some research on there. And as far as Kickstarter is concerned, and don't quote me on the exact numbers,
okay,
but it is somewhere in the realms of, and the money-wise will go first, in the past 6 to 8 weeks, Kickstarter's on an uptick of 26 million, I believe, in revenue, which puts them a little over 400% increase in 6 to 8 weeks.
Since the whole situation started.
To me, and it should tell everyone else. Exactly. What it should tell everyone is those that are stuck at home and can't get to your LCS, and I feel for every LCS that is either shut down temporarily or permanently.
Yeah.
But this is the option now, is Kickstarter, to do things. So if someone puts their project up there and it is worthy of being backed, this guy right here, sorry, this guy, worthy of being backed. So you need to go to the Kickstarter, and you definitely need to back it at whatever tier level you possibly can, and share. We cannot go over enough that you need to share this. We're going to be sharing quite a bit. We'll get you to share as well.
Okay.
Now, in doing that, I actually wanted to go ahead and bring up something, because you just started on Monday.
Yes, correct.
We have, I can't remember exactly how many backers. Let me see.
Last I checked, I think it was
We're only a
5 or
few
6.
backers.
Yeah, only a few backers. So
right.
honestly,
so we're only a few backers on here.
Yeah, it's kind of off the slow start, but I kind of expected that a little bit, but I'm still pushing at it and still telling people about it.
So here's the thing. This is Frank's first attempt at this. And he's got a great storyline. He's got a great development progress in there to go ahead and put together the entire universe that he's wanting to put on this. I would like to challenge everyone who is going to see this. We have got, let's go ahead and say 2 to 3 days. I will put out there. We'll go ahead and make it somewhat decent. So whenever I do get this out this evening, everybody will see it. 2 to 3 days. I would like to see at least $1,000 on here. This is not saying, Frank, are you paying me anything for this? We get that out of the way.
I'm not going to surprise. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah, okay. Keep talking.
Okay. So I just want to go and say, I'm not getting paid for this by any means. This is something that I actually believe in, and I want to go ahead and promote. So I would like to challenge everyone that's out there, if you will, take a look at it. I mean, take a good look. Look at the webpage. Look at the Kickstarter. If you've got questions, ask them. Back, share, and I'd like to see that number go up to $1,000 within 2 or 3 days. And then you never know, because he's still got quite a bit of time on here, the different stretch goals that we might come up with. We can get very creative on that if we need to.
Yes.
So there are options that are available on here, and I'd like to see this thing. Yeah, I would definitely like to see it succeed. So I think we can get very creative and figure out some things on there. So the challenge is 2 to 3 days. Let's get to $1,000. So let's push, share, promote, put it in every group that we possibly can. Don't just blindly blanket it. Put it out there because you believe in it. That's what I want to push out there. And you just need to go ahead. This has to happen. I mean, it has to have something on here. Something interesting that I did find out, because I've done some research on Frank. I'm not a stalker, but I've done some research. That is not me in your window behind you. Don't worry about it. But I've done some research, and we were talking about, you were actually doing some things on YouTube prior to doing the Kickstarter and doing the book. So if you can kind of tell them a little bit about what you were doing there, so they'll know what kind of background you've had in doing the cartoon, the comic, the novel, going along with this kind of style.
My YouTube channel is pretty easy to find. Just look for Frank James Bailey. Matter of fact, almost anywhere you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and YouTube. It's simple. Just Google Frank James Bailey. I made a good internet footprint because before I started doing this, I was a voice actor, and I want to make sure people found me pretty easy. So if you Google Frank James Bailey, I'm sure you'll find me. Anyway, on YouTube, for like the past 2.5, almost 3 years, I've been doing cartoon reviews. It changed the format just ever so slightly, but it somehow has an intro and stuff. And basically, I review different cartoons, sometimes a different season of a cartoon, see where it goes, where the story arc goes. Because one, I know a lot of kids and adults on YouTube are looking for different reviews of things. And I was told I like animation. I've always loved cartoons, and I haven't done a new video lately because on one end, I was a little discouraged because I'm only getting like less than 100 views per video. But I think I'm going to get back into it and add some more too, because I just recently saw My Hero Academia, which is an anime, but it's very good. Now, it's for 14 and over, so it's not for younger kids, but my daughter loves it. And the more I watch it, the more I see the progression of the characters, the more I see the storyline. It's like, I love that kind of stuff. So it reminds me of Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is one of my favorite cartoons of all time, Avatar: The Last Airbender. The Legend of Korra was really good too. Yeah, I give a lot of cartoon reviews on my YouTube channel. Plus, when I go to Comic Cons, if I have the time, if it's a little slower, like on a Sunday morning, I'll take my camera or my phone and kind of go around video things. So you'll also see video of me at different Comic Cons. You know, you won't see me behind my table because I'm videoing everything, but you get an idea what the Comic Con looks like if you've never been there before. Well, the most recent one was the Wizard World in Cleveland. And I've never been to Wizard World in Cleveland, so it was a very interesting way of showing what it looked like and stuff. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, you've mentioned a few things that you were kind of reviewing in the cartoons. How do you pick your cartoons? You want to go over the criteria on, is it just a lottery, or you just like that looks interesting, I'd like to see it, or did someone mention it to you? How does that go about?
a lot of them were cartoons that I saw when I was watching, or when I was a kid, actually, or at least in the past 15, 20 years. Or a lot of them were, because my kids are 13 and 7 now, and we still like animation. We still like cartoon stuff. Matter of fact, my kids just recently watched season 1 of My Hero Academia, the series. They love season 1. We haven't got to season 2 yet. But season 1 was phenomenal. And I gave it and my score is always like on a score of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. And usually none of my scores are below a 5 because I know it takes a lot of voice actors, it takes a lot of animation, it takes a lot of hard work to go through this stuff and put it together. And even though sometimes the story's bad, I think I've given some as low as a 5. Most of them are between a 6 and 7. Very rarely, but sometimes I give like a 9 or a 10. Like Avatar: Last Airbender, I gave a 10. It's one of the very only ones I gave a 10. But still, it's scale of 1 to 10. I look for character development. I look for characters that are very recognizable. I look for storylines. Just me, are you sucking me in with a good story? That's the biggest thing. And I think even though Kim Possible, another one of my favorite cartoons of all time, and Danny Phantom, I think I gave both of those a 7. Even though Kim Possible wasn't really a serialized storyline like Avatar: Last Airbender, it was still very good. As a matter of fact, a little bit of trivia here. I was inspired by Kim Possible, and if you look at my character there, her lip has that upper lip like Kim Possible did. So it's just a little bit. Wait a minute, she looks familiar. Obviously, no red hair; it's all blue. And the funny thing is, whenever I go to a Comic-Con, I've been doing this since 2016. Some people see that banner and go, "Oh, there's Tercona." They know me right away because they see that. And I was told by a couple of friends of mine, when Bill Gates came back to Apple in the early 2000s, he noticed that people were working on all sorts of different things. He's like, no. We got to work on one thing, make that the best thing possible. And that thing was the iPad or whatever it was and thing. So he started promoting that. Oh, you put like 10,000 songs on it. So that was my philosophy with Tercona. Have I written other things? Do I have other ideas? Yes, I do. But I want you to focus on her right now. And I've as you've been to the website, I've built these characters. I have, like I said, we talked about this. So there's a bio on each character, but you can also click to learn more about them. I have how tall they are, what their weight is, what they really enjoy, that kind of stuff. If they have any crushes on people. So I've built these worlds and I've built these characters, and then I go from there to put the story into place. So the world building it's there, but the world has been built with the first 3 books, but now we're going into comics and we're developing more of the characters.
And see, that's great having all the bios in there because you can go and look, and then whenever you want to go see the comics, now not just necessarily the one that we've got going right now, but for future, you can actually see where those bios actually have something to do with it, where they actually have key points in them. Yeah. Right now, you may look at it going, I really don't see that much in this character or what's going on with this, but there may be things in the future that are actually going to go ahead and change things with that. So
exactly. Yeah.
It does make a lot of difference on that. And it's good to have that information up there without having too much information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, what you need is just a little bit of tell me more.
Exactly.
That's what you need. or the old saying is always leaving wanting more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the best way to do it, because if you give everything all at once, I'm appeased. I don't need any more. I'm good.
Yeah. But also too, my wife hates that the first comic, which again was out last year, that the last line was, okay, who is Thea Beaumont? And she's like, are you ever going to tell people? Eventually, yes, but not right now. It's part of the whole storyline. She wants to know who this Thea Baymont person is. Well, you'll know soon.
Is she making a campaign on this whole thing? Or we have T-shirts and hats with Thea Baymont?
Well, the funny thing is, when I first had these, when I first started Tercona stuff, she did make T-shirts and had a campaign and stuff like that. But no, she's kind of my editor a little bit, for the comics. She kind of reads through it, then of course I send it back to my artist, and he redoes the pages and that kind of stuff. But yeah, she was a little slightly irritated. Like, wait a minute, who is this Thea Baymont? Tell me who she is. Well, that's the whole idea. I'm trying to reel you in.
And that's what you have to do. I mean, you have to make it where you just want to keep going back. Otherwise, what's the point on going back?
And there's always a big reveal somewhere way down the road. So it's a matter of keeping them in tune, keeping them interested, So that's the whole idea. That's what a good writer does, right?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the best way to do it, because I mean, if they don't want to keep coming back, then you've obviously done something wrong in there where they're no longer that interested. You've always got to have that interest in it.
Yeah.
Well, it definitely looks interesting. And nowadays, with everything being flooded on the market and so many books and so many comics, and for people like me, it's my drug of choice. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and say it out loud. I am no longer in denial, so I can get past that stage. So I am enjoying seeing all this. So to see a comic that is coming out that's an all ages adventure is very good to see, because there are people with kids out there who they always don't want to leave a certain comic out because teenager or something like that may see it, or young teenager, and you don't want them to see that particular comic. Whereas with this comic here, it's like you can leave it on the coffee table and everybody will read it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, it's good to have that. I mean, it's good to have that offered up there for that. And it seems like it's one of those that can actually be a how do I put it? It's more of like a real life setup on there, and kind of give some real life answers at some points on there, which is pretty nice, because it deals with some points on there. So I've seen so far that looks like it's dealing with the regular household things that you deal with and how to deal with them, just with superpowers.
Yeah. Like in the first comic, there's this like a slime gun, and Brittany has and she literally shoots the guy that they zap them with the slime gun, and Tercona's grabbing it. It's like, we're the good guys. Come on. Well, he did me first. There's humor in it, and to me, I like to add a little bit of humor. I was inspired by Kim Possible, Danny Phantom, Avatar: Last Airbender, the original Teen Titans, that kind of stuff. And it's like I noticed there was action, adventure, character, and of course there's a little bit of humor to keep you laughing, and a good humor moment always diffuses a bad moment,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
In life, you choose laugh or cry, and well, I don't do very well at crying, so I choose to laugh.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where you can look at it one of two ways on there, as far as what you can put into a book. You can go so far as to put in anything and everything you want to, and then you have to limit your audience on that, or you can go ahead and put in where it's basically the same thing happens on a day-to-day basis, but just with capes. Well, or not later on, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
But it gives that realism factor to what you're doing, and almost makes it more personal to the reader, which is nice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and again, I haven't even read it yet. I'm hoping to go ahead and get this whenever I can, to get a chance on the digital copy, so I can at least do a review like we talked about. And that'll be able to give you a fresh perspective from my idea of what I'm looking at on there. And then, of course, we have a 12-year-old son, so I'm going to let him take a look at it as well and get his points on there, because I want to know what a child thinks about the book as well. So it's good to get an overall review on what's going on with it.
Okay.
But the feel that I'm getting from it is great. Like I said, whenever I met you on the online con, I had to get you on here. I think your phone went off and it had the Kim Possible tone or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Yeah, and you just went off into a segue of, you can't tell I'm a Kim Possible fan, and you just went straight back into your speech. And
exactly.
I was writing it down. I was like, yep, getting this guy. He's coming in.
Plus, I think he told Pops. He told me I had a very good energy.
Yes.
So.
Well, and you do. You have to have that positive energy, and you have to show that you're excited about what you're doing. Because if you come in and you're very just melancholy about it and just buy my book, this is
Buy
what you
my
want.
book,
Spend your
please.
money. Okay.
Here's the blue-haired girl, and I can tell you more about her. Yeah,
See,
I have
exactly.
better than that. Yeah, I'm also the voice act. That's probably something that we haven't mentioned before, but I'm also a voice actor, and I don't do cartoons or voice act or animation stuff, although I'd like to. And I really picture myself maybe being a villain, not Bernice, but maybe being a villain. And if it was a show, if they let me, if they, and what I really want to do somewhere in the road, if I get the chance to do this, is be Tercona's dad, because I really am Paige's dad. I think it'd be a good idea to me be the voice of Tercona's dad. So, but mostly what I do is internet videos, podcast openings, like in a world where this podcast is coming now, that kind of
thing. Whenever we start making videos that have to go on Kickstarters we're going to be putting out, I may have to get you as a voiceover on that, because
sure.
I can do it only so well, and it's done. Plus, every time anybody sees that I'm from Jersey and they hear this accent, they're like, "Oh, somebody's lying." Yeah, I moved here from Texas. I am not from Jersey, in case anybody's noticed from the accent.
Yeah, there's a little bit something odd with you. And it can't. Okay, wait a minute here.
Yeah. And the y'alls I throw out there, it'll slip all the time.
You're from Southern Jersey, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's how the Southern Jersey talk all the time out here. Yeah, my girlfriend loves it whenever I get out there and throw some y'alls out in public. She's like, "You can't do that. They're not going to like that."
Go get a hoagie, man. Go from Jersey. Go get a
hoagie. But yeah, as far as the voice acting, we can definitely work with you on. We can find some stuff for you on that. I'm sure I can find. We might do it just to have fun, just to wake up my girlfriend every once in a while and just have somebody talking to her in a cartoon voice. At 4 o'clock in the morning.
No problem.
You see, there's all kinds of possibilities with this guy, so you can get with him and get him to do all kinds of things for you. Well, let me go ahead and say, before we go ahead and get out of here, I want to go ahead and get any kind of audio shout outs that you've got. If you've got any kind of links that you want to go ahead and say out loud, I will have those posted in the bottom, but he's going to go ahead and say those now so that we have all that together.
Okay. Well, first of all, the main one is Tercona.com. That is where you'll find the characters. That's where you'll find where I'm going to be. That's where you'll find all about Tercona, of course. You can get the comic number 2 there. You can see comic number 1. You can order the first 3 books there as well. The first 3 books are also available on Amazon.com, but the comic books are not, because the comic books are independently published by me. So when I go out to somewhere, like I said, a Comic-Con or something, and again, on Tercona.com, you'll be able to find out where I'm going to be next. And even with the search of which situation way it is, that most of them are summertime and late in the fall and stuff. But yeah, you'll find more about the characters there. I haven't updated their Facebook pages, but for a while there, every character page, Maya, Brittany, and I'll forget another one. They all had a Facebook page, like a Facebook actual page, like their name. But I haven't updated because it's like, okay, it's kind of a lot of work to keep them updated, but still, the website's always updated, and if you want to find out more about the characters, if you go to their bios and the character pages, you can click on the part where it says to click here to see more about this character. Then you actually see how tall they are, what they're into, who their crush is, and that kind of stuff. Like I said, I've built this world a lot with 3 illustrated novels to start off with, but now we're going into comics, and so the world is, and the passion is there. The world is there. As for me, the other Tercona stuff, if you go on Facebook, there is a Facebook like page, because every Facebook has a like page. It's simple. It's just like Facebook.com/Tercona. But the other one, you might have to search for it, but it's real simple. It's the Facebook fan club. And I get more people going to the fan club than with a like page. Like, for example, some people will go on the fan club and post their fan art. I've gotten quite a few fan art in the past 5 years of people drawing Tercona. I am humbled. Matter of fact, I put a page on the website, fan art. You click on that, you can see everybody some people are very, very detailed with it. Some people are just like little kids who happen to like the character and put her in a different situation. Some people drew her as My Little Pony. So, everybody's drawing her different ways. And I really applaud anybody who wants to draw Tercona. I mean, I'm floored that people like her so much and they see her and they want to draw her and they want to put her in a situation or something. So that's I'm very humbled by that. So
absolutely.
And that's what the Tercona fan club is for. A lot of people interact. A lot of people talk to other people. A lot of people, post their fan art and that kind of stuff. So that's what the fan club is for. There's also, you can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook, and you can find me on Instagram. I'm very easy to find. It's Frank James Bailey. You can go to Google, hit on Frank James Bailey. You can probably be able to find, the Tercona website. You can find, me on Instagram, on Twitter. Now, Twitter is the only one where it's just Frank J. Bailey because I couldn't use the whole name.
Right.
But it's very easy to find because I'm the only Frank J. Bailey there, I think. And the picture's all the same too. It's like me with the Tercona in the background. So if you find the picture there, it's very easy to find. And that's basically the websites, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the website, and that kind of stuff. And what was the other thing you want me to plug?
And the other thing,
Kickstarter.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
The Kickstarter was just started a couple days ago. Off to a slow start, but I'm very positive about this. I know I can meet my goals. I'm really hoping I can. And I'm really hoping that people enjoy what I put up there on the Kickstarter. And it doesn't end until the middle of May, but hey, you put out a challenge, right?
Exactly. Yes, I absolutely did.
So,
and all these links will be posted down below. So as of right now, we're going to go ahead and let Frank go for right now. We had an amazing time on here tonight. If you need any more information, those links will be down there. He will be more than happy to go ahead and answer anything that you go ahead and send over to him, except for bills for stuff that's owed for him from years back or anything like that. None of that spam stuff. But yeah, we had a great time tonight. Thank you, Frank, for being here. We enjoyed having you on and look forward to having you back.
No problem.
All right. Thank you very much. And we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
All right. We had another great interview with another great person here, Frank James Bailey. I'm going to tell you right now, his energy levels are off the chart. So I am serious about this. We need to make sure, I want that to be known that we have that goal out there. I want to see a challenge of $1,000 within 2 to 3 days on there, just to go ahead and show that we can do things like this. My whole philosophy right now, and it should be everybody's and throughout all of these current events, act as if you're going to go ahead and you're going to make every Kickstarter count. Act as if you're going to make every small business a success. Act as if you don't have to have the job that you had before. You can make yourself who you want to be today. Living proof right here. I am absolutely living the dream, and I wouldn't rather be anywhere else. Act as if. So I'm saying right now, Frank James Bailey, you need to get on that Kickstarter. You need to go ahead and back it. Use the power of that finger like we've talked before and share, and then promote that thing around and move it around and get it to everybody and let them know. Until next time, Demon Phil, Comics and More, New Jersey. Keep it indie, y'all.